Hello, and welcome to the Cherry Pulse Podcast, Episode 6.
Hi.
This is mostly a knitting podcast, a little bit of spinning, a little bit of craftiness, a little bit of everything, a little bit of New Orleans life. We're coming to you from outside New Orleans, Louisiana. My name is Robin, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Teeny Button. And you can find my Etsy shop as Teeny Button Studio. I'll put the information down below.
And I'm Mary, and on Ravelry, I am Snip and Full. On Instagram, I am My Angry Orange Cat. And if you want to follow me on Pinterest, I'm also Snip and Full.
Why don't I use Pinterest that much anymore?
Well, I only added the Pinterest part because I'm adding in a new section to the podcast, which you'll see later, which has to do with Pinterest.
Yeah. You can find the group for this podcast as Cherry Pulse Podcast on Ravelry. So come on over and join the group. We have a thread for questions. We have an introduction thread. And you can also find all of our show notes there.
That's where they are.
So you want to go first with those?
Oh, sure. Okay. I just have one finished object this week. This is a baby hat. I showed it last week as a whip, and I actually finished it after the podcast last week.
Be a good fit for Cereza.
It is just a pattern that I made up on my own. I cast on 74 stitches, did a bit of ribbing, knit until I thought that it was big enough, and then cast off. And then I added a little pom-pom.
So, do you use your pom-pom maker?
Yes, I used the pom-pom maker that I had shown in a previous podcast. It's the Clover one, which I think is brilliant.
So little.
Whoever came up with that was a genius. So that is one of my charity knits. As I've stated before, I usually have something on the needles that I donate to charity, and that's one. So, and I have another one that's on the needles, but I mean, it's just maybe 2 rows in, so I didn't really want to pull it out and say, oh, look, I started another one.
What's the yarn?
Oh, sorry. The yarn is Baby Bee Sweet Delight Prints, and the colorway is Sprinkles.
I like how it looks even. Like the purple part is, bordered by the other colors really evenly.
You know, it's not, I didn't know it was a striping yarn until I just must have hit the magic number of cast on stitches because it looks pretty stripy.
It does. Looks really good.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a fun knit. The yarn is soft. It's 100% acrylic. But when I usually do my charity knits, I usually knit with an acrylic or an acrylic blend because I don't really know what this recipient wants to do in terms of care. I don't want to force somebody to hand wash if that's not their thing, and I don't want them to feel bad if they hand wash something and it's ruined. So that's my only finished object.
Very cute. See if I can get you to stand up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I have my finished object on.
I think that looks great.
This is, I'm calling this my Speckled Robin Shawlette. The pattern is the Red Robin Shawlette by Helen Stewart, who's the Curious Handmade podcast. And it's really big.
That's beautiful.
I really like it. This is, the yarn is Madeline Tosh in Tosh Merino Light in the Found Pottery colorway.
And little tassels.
I've never made tassels before. And I debated on making them. I don't know why. I don't know, it's just like extra work. I don't know. Which is stupid because I spent hours knitting the shawl.
I would have made them for you if you didn't want to do it because I think the tassels really make that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was one of the reasons why you fell in love with it in the first place. Robin from Stitching Between Pages was wearing this when we saw her at DFW, and Robin and I both immediately was like, "What's that pattern?" And Robin cast it on like right when she got home.
So we met her outside, and like right after we finished, I went inside and bought yarn for it.
Yeah. So one of the things we both liked about it were the tassels. And granted, you can add tassels to any of your shawls. It's just not something I think about doing. Yeah. But it truly makes this shawls cute.
It's a really interesting knit because it's not. It's interesting.
I like this pattern right here.
Yeah, it's a paid pattern. I'm not going to give it away, but I like that it's kind of like you can do it with any length of yarn, no matter how much yardage you have. You just sort of knit until you have so much left, and then you do the textured section and then the garter section. I actually did the garter section a little bit longer than the pattern calls for because this is actually the recommended yarn for the pattern. but I was knitting it on 5s instead of 6s. So
Why did you choose to do 5s instead of 6s?
it's a fingering weight yarn, and I don't like when her fingering weight yarn gets really drapey and
so
foley.
you wanted just a different
I
fabric.
wanted a tighter knit fabric. And I was worried it would be too small, but it's fine.
I think it looks great.
But I have a lot of yarn left over. It's a 420 yard skein, and this is probably at least 25 grams of the 100 gram skein. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I could always do minis, but I don't know. Some people don't want singles in their mini blanket.
Mm-hmm. You could do a 2-color hat.
Possibly.
Or if you decide to do a 2-color shawl, or even like a 3-color cashmere shawl, that could be your section, of your color.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd want to do that in the speckle.
I think it could be interesting. If the other 2 colors were solids and it pulled out the colors, I think it would be pretty.
But it kind of looks like a little bow tie.
Yeah.
So,
Cute.
Yeah, I like it. I'm really happy with it. I'm a lot happier with the shawl than the last one I made. But I like it. I'm going to wear it. I'm wearing it today even though it's like 80 degrees outside. It's really hot.
Spring has come.
Summer has come.
Almost summer.
That's why I'm not drinking tea today. You're drinking tea though, huh?
Yes, my tea is cooling off.
Yeah. It's too hot to be drinking tea and wearing a shawl.
So if I get thirsty, I'm having my Diet Dr. Pepper until the tea cools off.
Yeah. So I just had that one phone.
All right. We both had one finished object.
All right.
Before we get further, should we do our thank you?
Yeah, we should have done that at the beginning.
Okay, we should have done that in the beginning. We would like to thank Catherine of Backstage Knits. She mentioned us in her last podcast, and I've watched her podcast, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
She had the latest podcast that she has got a really cute title. It's called "In Which April FOs Bring May COs," which is
cast-ons.
Yeah, which is finished objects FOs and cast-on COs, and which is true. I mean, here we are coming up to the end of the month. Sometimes people like to finish the month but having nothing on their needles. Mm-hmm. But you kind of like to finish up, and the new month brings in new ideas and new objects.
And new knit-alongs.
New cows.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was really, really cute. And so I enjoyed watching her and wanted to thank her for mentioning us in her podcast.
Thank you so much.
All right. Sorry, should have done that in the beginning.
We'll get it. We'll get it eventually. At least remember the podcast group this time.
Yes.
We're slowly but surely we're gonna remember everything.
It's not like we don't have show notes written down, both of us.
We do, and we just don't look at them. We're too busy talking.
Yeah, I mean, you can see me looking down, so I am reading something.
Yeah.
All right. So works in progress.
Yes, I have 2.
All right. I have 1.5.
Half.
Well, when it's my turn, I'll mention the half.
Well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So this, I'm sure, not I'm sure, but some of you, I know, some of you may have seen this on my Instagram this morning because I was complaining. I cast this sock on yesterday, and I was using, forgot the name of the pattern because I'm not using that pattern anymore. It's a basket weave sock. It's a free pattern. It'll be probably linked in the Ravelry group. We're going to put it in the show notes. Yeah. And the stitch count is over, what's what I'm looking for? A multiple of 10 stitches. And so I usually do 68 stitch socks. So I'm like, I'll just go to 70. And I did 70, and the sock was like this wide.
Oh, it was huge.
It was massive.
Well, is it a rib?
Yeah.
Well, that would pull
No, it was this big.
Even with
before
even with the patterning.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking, well, maybe the pattern might pull it in, but you're saying that's not.
It was bad.
So you had to rip that puppy back.
Every sock I've made for the past year, I put this in my Instagram post. Every sock I've made for the past year has been 68 stitches. Every single one. And this one, same needles. This yarn is Creative Mama Makes tweed sock, and it's like a normal fingering weight. It's not significantly heavier. Not that you can see that, than, another fingering weight. These are Carbon's needles. I've knit with them before, but for some reason it was just massive. It was huge. So I cast it on yesterday. I knit about this much, and this morning at work I was looking at it, I'm like, this is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And, the yarn is hand-dyed. I got it in a swap from the lovely Renee, who I know watches. and it's such a beautiful yarn, and it's so much fun to knit with. And I wanted to do a really pretty textured sock, and you just wouldn't have gotten that texture if it was all like sucked in because it was so loose, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I ripped it out to the toe, and then I ripped it a little bit further so that I was down to 60 stitches. So this is over 60 stitches. And then this is a new pattern. This is the Vestigial pattern by Beta Jezik, which is a Hedgehog Fibers pattern. I think I don't know if she owns Hedgehog Fibers or if she's just a dyer for Hedgehog Fibers.
I don't know. I just know whoever is the dyer is brilliant.
Yeah, maybe both. Maybe she does both. But anyway, and I think Kristen of the Volan Vine of Yarngasm podcast was knitting these. I
was going to say the pattern name sounds very familiar.
It's textured, but it's super super easy texture. Because the other one was easy. It was like a basket weave rib. Basket weave rib. But it was, like, you had to kind of pay attention. Whereas this one is like a multiple of two. Like, you knit two, purl two, knit two, purl two, and then you just kind of stagger it. So this one's a lot easier to knit while I, play on the computer, watch a video or something. So, that's why I chose this one. So, I've already said the yarn, I've said the pattern. These are Carbon size US 1. Let me get the hang of that. There we go. And I really love these. I think these might be my new favorite needles.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of metal needles because they're so slippery. And I don't like using wood for like small diameter needles because I'm afraid I'm going to break them. So these are like perfect. But there's something.
Now I've heard there's an issue sometimes with the joins on the smaller gauge needles. You're not finding that a problem with these?
Not particularly. They're not the smoothest join. But that way. But I like them.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on, everybody has what feels comfortable to them or what feels right to them.
The only thing about these are Knitter's Pride, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Knitter's Pride. The only thing about that is that the way they stamp the sizes is hard to read. I know on the wooden ones, like on the Royal needles, they stamp it on the wood and on the metal, and it always comes off on the wood. I don't know why they bothered to stamp it on the wood. But the Carbons, it's stamped on the metal part by the joint, and it's really hard to read.
It's just really tiny?
Yeah, well, it's really faded. Like, it's white on the silver metal.
Oh.
But it's not, like, etched, so it's not like you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But I only have one pair of Carbons, so it's not like I'm going to mix it up.
So you feel the need to get some more maybe down the road?
Maybe. I was actually thinking about getting another pair of sock needles.
Well, that's what I did this week. So.
Yeah. Well, I find that I have 4 pairs of sock needles, and that means I can only have 4 sock whips at a time.
Oh, emergency.
Because it's kind of like how you pack a suitcase. Like, if you pack a larger suitcase, you're going to pack enough stuff to fill it, If you have, 10 sock needles, you're going to have 10 socks going because you're like, oh, I want to knit that, I want to knit that. So
yeah, it's hard not to cast on all the things. When you have
especially socks. Socks are the worst.
Well, the yarn is so gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, the goal is to finish these before the end of the month. I don't know why I had trouble thinking of that. Goal is to finish these before the end of the month because Candace of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast and Laura of the Fawn Knits podcast are doing a joint cookie A knit along. It's like the cookie along or something. And I thought that was really
so
cute.
That's a cookie A pattern?
This is not. I want to finish it before then.
Oh, so you can start.
Yeah, I want to use these needles.
I get it. So you want to finish that so you can use the
and
needles
having fewer needles.
A.
If I had another pair of Carbons, I wouldn't have to finish these. But since I don't, I have to finish these before the end of the month.
But you have other sock needles.
They're being used.
Oh, so you have no free ones.
Well, I have one pair of Chiagus, but I don't love them because they hurt my fingers, and they're kind of like they're all bent up, like the cables all kinked and stuff. So I try not to use them unless it's a sock emergency. So and this is in. I've shown this before. I got this at the FW, the Yarn Owl.
I think that's adorable.
Yeah, it's really easy because I just ball the yarn up into one big ball. So it fits in there perfect. It's like a portable yarn bowl. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
This is by Diana Couture. And her stuff is fantastic. And it's amazingly priced. And it's really well made. And I can't get this ball back in.
If you unsnap the other side.
I know.
It's like you made it hard on yourself.
I know. So if you're looking for a little really portable sock project bag, go check her out, Diana Couture.
A lot of people were knitting with her, using her bags.
Everyone had one at the podcaster meetup. Everyone had one in a different print. She was really sweet for you, yeah. But she was really sweet too.
Yeah, I heard that she was very, very nice.
I was wearing my green sweater, and she's like, "I love knowing that my bags are being used for projects as beautiful as that one." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Very sweet.
It's so nice. So that's my whip. One whip.
Oh, I thought you had more than one whip.
I have one more.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and do both of yours.
Okay. So this is
I know
my sock scrap blanket. It's finished, guys. You think it'll keep me warm?
Pearl could use it.
Pearl could use it. Be perfect size for Pearl. I have 16 squares, obviously. I started this in October, and I did most of these back last year. I just picked it up and did a handful on the bottom. And I don't remember what some of them are, so I'm just gonna do the three that I remember. This is Mary Gavin yarns in Curry. I think the yarn base is Piho. It was someone who picked up for me in Arizona.
That was a long time ago.
I knit a pair of socks in this yarn. It's in my projects page. But it's gorgeous, and it's really thick. It's like a really thick fingering weight.
Mm-hmm.
This is my own yarn. This is Teeny Button Studio Feet's sock in the Mint Mojito colorway. This is one I got from you. I don't remember what it is. It's a single. What did you knit with this?
Don't know.
It might be Tosh Merino Light.
I don't remember.
Mystery square.
I mean, I can go and look in my Ravelry page, but I don't
care that much.
Don't remember.
I mean, some people try to keep track of every single square, which I think is great, but I don't have time for that. Not that I don't have time for that, but I'm just not willing to put in the work because I'm not going to ever be like, what's that square, you know?
Well, I mean, I could go back and look because I'm very good at keeping up my projects on Ravelry, so I could go back and see what the yarn is, but
yeah. And then last square, this is Knit Pick Stroll in the Frozen colorway. I got this in a swap with Renee, who dyed that yarn that I just showed.
It's pretty.
It's really pretty. So I have 16 squares. And I'm probably going to do some more this weekend. I'm knitting this on size 3 Knitter's Pride Dreams because I love Knitter's Pride. And I have a bunch more minis to use. I'll show some of my minis.
Oh, you do?
I'm so excited to use this one, but I don't know where I'm going to use it. This is Disco Lemonade by something about a tree or a rock and a tree. I don't think it's rock and string. One twisted tree, I think.
Tree, yeah.
Yeah, I got this one.
Something about a tree and a rock.
Yeah, well, I know. I got these three. This is Diagon Alley.
Like that one.
I love this one. I ordered these whenever I ordered your Christmas present. I was like, I'm going to throw something there for me.
No problem.
This is my favorite. This is BFF Bail Bond money. And it's Mardi Gras colors. I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
I'm wondering if there's a story behind the name of that yarn.
I don't know. I didn't really read, but it's so pretty. And it's funny. So I'm excited to use these three, but I don't want to put them together. I want to space them out. And then I have some yarns I got in the swap. And then I have this precious, precious skein of hedgehog fibers that I'm saving. I don't know where I'm going to put that. And then one from Savvy Skein. So these are probably going to go in my blanket at some point. I can't promise it'll be this week. But
looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 1.5 whips. The half whip, and I'm calling it half, is the socks that I was knitting on last week. With the Turtle Pearl socks in the bruised colorway. I did not work on them at all this week because after I finished that baby hat, I was 100% monogamous on my 3-color cashmere shawl.
Which is your other whip, right?
And it is done.
Kind of.
Well,
the knitting is done.
Yes, I consider it a whip because I haven't blocked it out yet. I was casting.
Oh my God! Look at those.
I was casting off the last stitch. Let's turn it this way. Yeah, I was casting off the last stitch right as Robin was coming in the door this afternoon. So here it is. So You know, it's going to be long, and I have a massive number of ends to weave.
Snip, snip.
Because I'm not a big fan of carrying yarn up several rows.
Oh my god.
I know.
That's an unholy amount of
Well,
ends.
actually, I've woven in all of these ends from here to here. The only end that is not woven in actually is this one right here, and then the cast off. So everything else is actually woven in, because I did that as I was watching TV or I don't know, doing watching podcasts and things like that as I was going along. So all the ends are actually woven in. I don't cut the ends until it's blocked.
They're already woven in.
Yes, they're woven in. So then I'm gonna go ahead and soak it and block it. And then once it's blocked, I go back and I snip the ends.
Oh, that makes sense. You were like, I wove in all the ends, and I'm like, that's weird. I see ends. I think you're blind.
Yeah, the ends are woven in, but they are not.
They're not snipped.
Yes. So I don't have that much work to do other than casting it off. I mean, other than blocking it. So I plan on
the lace section's so pretty.
Yeah, the lace section is gorgeous. I plan on entering this in Mina's expat cowl that she's doing. She did a swap, and even though I didn't participate in the swap, she's allowing people to enter projects into it if they knit with a yarn that is not local to them. And this gorgeous blue section here is hedgehog fibers in the color Wish, and hedgehog fibers is obviously not close to me. Wish it were, but it is not. So,
Irish, huh?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm thrilled that it's finished. I love the finished project. I can't wait to wear it. Probably won't get much wear until much later this year because, as we stated, it's already gotten pretty warm here.
Probably not going to get cool again. It's probably the end of it.
Yeah, probably November.
If then. We've had it in the 90s in December before.
Yeah, we've worn shorts on Christmas Day and things like that. So
it's one of the hazards of living in the South.
Yeah,
I like how you added the blue stripe.
Yeah, adding the blue stripe in there is an idea that I saw Tracy from the Grocery Girls. She had put in a couple of pops in her stripe section, and I thought I would add one in as well. So the original pattern doesn't call for that to be there. It's supposed to be, in the colors that you already use in the striping, but that's just a little mod that I did. And I did not do the picot bind off. The pattern calls for picot bind off. I'm just not. By the time I finished this, it was over 500 stitches.
Ooh.
And I wasn't picot binding off 500 stitches.
That's not your idea of fun?
No, because as people have said, you get to a certain point and you're in the black hole of knitting, especially with a shawl, because there's just so many stitches and you're like, am I at the end yet? And then you look and see you still have a ton left. But it was an absolutely fun knit. I would knit another one. I have yarn to knit another one. So
did you use a full skein of any of it?
No, did not use a full skein of any of it. I still have a lot, obviously, of the hedgehog, which is the blue. I have quite a bit of the gray, darker gray, and the lighter gray. Not so much, obviously, because that's the main
biggest
color. But I will weigh my yarn, and I will put in my Ravelry notes how much yarn is left over in case anybody's interested
using
in
partial
knitting.
skeins.
Yeah,
would be a good idea.
Yeah, so
like you said with my
yeah. See, because this might work. I can whenever I weigh out the hedgehog, you can see how much I actually used. So yeah, loved it. Do it again.
Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I have it in my queue.
Yeah, you need to pull it out of your queue. You need to cast it on at some point.
There's so much stuff I want to knit.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I wanted to get that off the needles is I have a whole bunch of other shawls that I want to knit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to restart the Susanna IC Winter Mystery cow shawl that I had frogged earlier, and I bought the yarn for it at DFW, and I really wanted to get that going.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
Is that the one that's the dark blue Madelinetosh?
Actually, I did not buy it at DFW. I bought the yarn.
But you got the beads for it.
I got the beads at DFW. I bought the yarn at a good yarn in Sarasota.
Mm. So it's strip yarn.
Yes, strip yarn.
So you want to throw me something, mister?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is our next section. Throw me something, Mister, which
Stash,
is
acquisitions, enabling.
Yes. You want to go
yarn
first?
therapy. I have two.
I have one.
Okay. So I have one that I'm really excited about and one that I'm not really excited about. So I'm going to go with the one I'm not excited about first. And I hate to say that, but this is the Knitology. This is their BFL sock tweed 2-ply, 85% superwash BFL, 15% Donegal tweed knits or whatever they're called in the Negan's Revenge.
It's a pretty color. I like all the little speckles in it.
Yeah, well, that's the tweed. It's really
I like the tweedy parts.
The problem is that I'm not a huge fan of this color on the tweed. I think that tweeds look better in pastel colors.
No, I disagree.
Or like neutrals. I'm not a huge fan of like bright colors on tweed. I think this is a Walking Dead colorway.
See, I like this color.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan.
I think you're just upset about the yarn.
Well,
I think that's color in your opinion.
It comes in like a really pretty shiny pink bubble mailer. This is from the Knit Crate Yarn Club that I get. It's a subscription box. And this is the Knitology, obviously Knitology sock club. And it comes in a shiny pink mailer, and I see it, and it's shiny, and I get excited.
And you want to rip it open.
I get blinded because it's so sparkly, and I took scissors to the package, and I didn't know the yarn was so close to the top.
And you cut it.
And I have some unintended. Where's here we go. Some unintended ends here, which I'm not. It's not the end of the world, but it's still extra work.
It was still disappointing because, you don't really want to cut your yarn when
like,
you don't intend to cut your yarn.
Almost every other yarn I've ever ordered comes in a plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I should know because I've gotten I've gotten this box before. But,
So do they normally have it in a plastic bag, this particular subscription?
They don't, but they always shove it at the bottom. But maybe it got rustled around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm actually thinking of discontinuing my subscription because I've gotten 4 boxes and 1 was really good, 1 was okay, and then 2 I was pretty disappointed with. So I'm thinking about maybe trying Yarn Box or maybe like an indie dyer, like little mini club.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not thrilled with it, and I don't want to lie and say that I am. I love it because it's yarn, but it's not something I see myself using anytime soon.
I'm real hesitant to do subscriptions like that because I don't know that much about. Now, you're saying it's always the same dyer?
Yeah.
I don't know that much about this dyer. Did you know that much about them?
I think it's like their house yarn. I think they dye it themselves at the Knit Crate.
I can see subscribing to, say, one of Vollenvine's subscriptions.
Mm-hmm. Or like a dyer that you love everything they do.
Exactly. Hedgehog fibers. It's like, do I ever find anything I don't like? Mm-hmm. But in most cases, I like to pick out the colors that I like. Mm-hmm. It's one thing if you're doing a swap.
Yeah.
But to actually pay someone to buy yarn for me, that's kind of taken some of the pleasure out of one of the things I enjoy.
And if you're doing a swap, you can say, I like this color, I don't like this
color. Sure, and this you get little input other than you chose the weight of the yarn.
Yeah. And I liked some of the stuff that I got. It's not like it's bad. I don't want to say don't try it. But I didn't care for some of the things that I've gotten. So I'm thinking about stopping my subscription. Because I could spend that money on towards, it wouldn't buy a full skein of like something really, really good, but it could put it towards, a skein
you did it. You've done it for 4 months. That's at least probably 2 skeins of something really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
you should love your yarn.
Yeah.
And
if I hadn't cut it, I could use it for a swap or I could make it into minis, but you ruined it.
Well, you still could make it into minis.
That's true, but I couldn't use it for a swap.
No.
Look at those ends just a wiggling. Oh.
I know, you were so disappointed.
Oh my God.
It is. That's upsetting.
I know.
Seriously upsetting.
But I learned my lesson to be more careful.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. I've done plenty of those.
Yeah. I feel like I was kind of complaining. I don't want to come off like I'm complaining.
No, it's beautiful yarn, but I mean, sometimes you just get yarn that
It doesn't click.
Yeah, well, you're just not loving, and there's too much beautiful yarn out there to love. I know that I think Jody had gotten some yarn in Jody from the Grocery Girls.
Oh.
That she had gotten maybe in a subscription or something, and she said she wasn't loving it, and somebody saw it on the podcast and said, "Hey, I will take that off your hand," because they were loving it. So, it could work out.
Well, I got a skein of fantastic yarn today, so that kind of balances it out.
Yeah,
I'm
when you're
super excited about
she was so happy that the Bowling Vine game in.
No, you spoiled it. It was a secret. You didn't hear that.
No.
Just wait a couple minutes. I'll show you.
Yeah.
All right, go.
Oh, I want to show off my mug. I don't need a therapist. I have a cat.
Teresa's not a good therapist.
Well, we have Whiskers. Whiskers is an excellent therapist.
Whiskers.
And I'm drinking some David's tea. Robin and I decided to order some online. And we did. And this is cream of Earl Grey that I'm drinking right now. So my only throw me something mister this week is, woohoo, 2 packs of sock needles.
Count them, 2.
So they're high sharps, size 1, 2.25 millimeter. I needed some more sock needles, and that's what I got.
Gonna have socks on them soon.
Yes, I will.
Where'd you order them from?
I got them off of eBay, because everybody that I was trying to order from only had one. I mean, I have heard so many people lately talking about how much they love the high sharps. And so I'm like, oh, that reminds me, I need to get another pair. So I would go to my usual online, stores, and they had one. And I wanted 2. Because
you knit 2 at a time.
I knit 2 at a time on 2 separate needles. So I don't ever get second sock syndrome. So I cast on one needle, and I get past the toe, and then I start the other one, get past the toe, and then I go back and forth until I get to the heel, and then I do the heel in one, and then I do the heel in the other one, and then I, continue on. So I needed to find somebody who had 2, and I couldn't find anybody who had 2, but there was someone on eBay who had 2. So, yeah. That's my only throw me something mister this week, because I still have so much yarn from DFW, I cannot justify buying anything new, yarn-wise.
That doesn't stop some people.
Needles do not count.
That doesn't stop some people. So, Cereza just jumped onto the...
Yeah, she's getting ready to walk up. Oh, there she is.
If you watched our last episode, which is episode 5, and you watched till the end, I don't know if anyone... I mean, I know some people saw it, but it's at the end. So if you're not watching to the end, you won't see it. There's a video of Cereza walking around in the beams, and Pearl is looking up, and they're like, what are you doing? Yeah,
and we say goodbye, and then Robin put it on after that.
Yeah.
So I have learned, there's a couple people, KT of Inside Number 23 does that. She'll say goodbye, she'll show her credits, and then after that, she usually has some really cute little video of Rolly, her and Rolly, and her dog is so adorable.
He's cute.
So yeah, that's where it would be if you missed it. It was in our last episode 5.
Yes. So my next stash is my very
which you did not hear me say earlier.
My very first skein of woolen fine.
That is so pretty.
Ever. Oh my god, y'all. It's in her footsie base, Ode to a Pair.
Now this is her new color.
This is her new colorway. She's like, something about how they bought a pair. They were at the store and they saw a pair, and she's like, I want to make a colorway about a pair.
Well, she said pear is her favorite fruit.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm just gonna make a colorway, for pears, and I love it. I'm like, I don't have words. I love it.
It is. It's beautiful.
I'm a green person. Like, I really love green.
You always have. And
I'm thinking about doing a pair of monkey socks for the cookie along with this yarn, but I'm kind of, I don't know if you're like this. If I have one skein of something in my stash, I'm afraid to use it. I'm like, if I use that skein, I'm not going to have any more.
No, I don't have that problem at all, because I can always find some more, or I can always find another one that I love.
Yeah, but the thing about Woolen Vine is that, like, it's not like her shop updates are kind of hectic. Like, everything sells out within minutes. But if you're on at the right time, you can probably get a skein.
Well, she tells you that. She tells you that when she does her shop updates and talks about it on her podcast, that you really need to be signed in and ready to go, so that whenever everything goes live, you can jump on what you want. You can't dawdle around and think about it. You kind of need to make a decision.
Now once you add it to your cart, it reserves it for 10 minutes or something.
She said in a previous podcast, you do have it for a certain number of minutes because there were a lot of issues with cart jacking.
But then people are adding everything. Some people, I don't know.
Well, yeah, some people go in and add all the things
and then decide.
Which
really isn't fair, but I kind of understand why you would do it. If there's 4 things you want to look at and you can't decide, I understand why you would do it, but it's really not that fair. So.
Well, that's how my mother-in-law used to shop.
She Elvis someone?
No.
Oh, wait.
You're thinking of Nana.
Grandma Roslyn.
Yeah. My mother-in-law used to go to this grocery store where they would have specials on whole fillets. And it was a really good deal, so she would go and she'd grab 5 of them and put them in her cart so nobody else could take those 5. And then she would debate on them for the next 30 minutes on which one she wanted.
This is also the same woman who would go to the store for Dad and Gary and buy how many 20 pairs of the same pants in different colors and sizes, and then bring them home for them to try on and then return the 19 pairs they didn't want.
Yeah, she didn't make them go to the store.
They're baby, that's why.
Yeah, I wasn't raising kids like that. I'm you want some clothes, you come to the store, you're trying them on, because I'm not coming back to bring them back just because that's not the right size and you didn't like that color.
But anyway, Wool and Vine yarns. I want to use it for the cookie along. Maybe not. Maybe I'll order another skein tomorrow.
See, you say your issue is if you have one of a color or one of a brand. One of a brand, okay. You don't want to use it. See, I wouldn't want to put something that beautiful on my feet. I don't look at my feet that much.
It's like a sock yarn. It's nylon and BFL. And the thing about I
put that in a shawl. I would be I'd want to be wearing it to where I could look down and go, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And I don't look at my feet that much.
I understand what you're saying, but I wear my hand knit socks every single day, whereas I wear hand knit shawls.
True.
Only November through March.
True.
If then.
True.
So, except never on the podcast because we have air conditioning. But
I don't wear my hand knit socks every single day.
I do because my feet get cold and sometimes I wear them in bed. So it's beautiful, and while I understand not putting it on your feet, especially to wear it in shoes or to wear it out and about for bed socks or just around the house socks, yeah.
Isn't it great we can have different ways of using yarn? You've got your way, I've got my way, someone else has another way, and it's all correct. Because just as long as you use it or admire it and love it, there's nothing wrong with putting it in your stash and looking across the room.
Yarn kitten.
And it makes you happy.
A yarn kitten. You just go over and pet it.
Over and pet it.
Oh, I love it. It came today. I decided, it wasn't supposed to come till tomorrow. And I was driving up, and Pearl sits on my lap sometimes whenever I drive, especially from just the neighborhood. And I had to hold her back to roll in the window and open the mailbox, and I saw it. And I let go over, and she almost jumped out the window.
It's wait, Pearl, Mommy needs to get her yarn.
I don't drive with her on my lap because it's not safe. But we were just in the neighborhood, and we were at a stop. Don't want to advocate dangerous behavior. But
it's beautiful.
I love it.
It looks better in person. It was gorgeous on the podcast, but it is better in person.
Yeah, it's very much, it's coming up very muted. It's more saturated.
Yeah, it's just, it's lovely. I'm not a green person, but I like that.
I love it. Okay,
See, it works out because you can have all the greens that I'm not loving.
Yeah. So we have a choice right now.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about what you made, or do you want to do a question?
Let's do the question because that's still knitting related.
Okay.
Let's keep it all the knitting stuff together.
Okay. So we have a thread in our Ravelry group for questions.
Which I messed up.
Yeah. I texted you Mom, I'm not supposed to answer the question in the thread. But
oops.
You can leave us a question and we will answer it in the podcast unless we forget and answer it in the thread.
Well, I've learned my lesson, so I won't do that next time.
So our question today is from Sheila's 2006, and she asks, do you ever knit for your guys? My husband is hot-natured, but I'm knitting him a pair of socks. Also, I would like to know what Robin's major is. Love your podcast. So you can go first. Do you ever knit for Dad?
I have tried to knit for Philip. He is a hot-natured like your husband, and I have pictures of him in the snow, the rare times it has snowed here, and he's wearing shorts. So he, into the knitwear. But I have knit him a hat. I knit him a hat in Saints colors, and he will wear that if it's really, really cold.
Mhm.
But typically he doesn't wear hats either. It's pretty much the only thing that I could think of that I could knit that he would wear. So I think it's just one thing. Dad's not loving.
He's not.
He doesn't care about knitwear, which is fine because then the rest of it's for me.
I have a story that kind of goes along with this. It's a heartbreaking story. For my first serious boyfriend, back when I first started college, I knit him a pair of socks out of Felici in the firefighter colorway. Do you remember the socks?
Mm-hmm.
And they were one of the first pairs of socks I ever made, and they fit him wonderfully. And whenever we broke up, his ex-girlfriend cut them up and burned them. So I have a rule now that if I knit for someone and we go through a messy breakup,
you get the socks.
You
back.
have to give me the knits back because I'm not going to keep them. I'm going to donate them. But I'd rather someone have them than have them, cut up and burned.
Shredded just because you're jealous.
Yeah. But
but she's kind of crazy anyway.
I have knit for my current boyfriend Larry. We've been dating for 2 years, just about. So I'm at the point where I feel like, okay, he can have something knitted.
He's knit worthy.
Yeah, he's not big into socks. But I have made him a pair of fingerless mitts and a hat. For Christmas, that's what he gets for Christmas. He gets something knitted every year.
Yeah, he's a photographer, so the fingerless mitts worked out well for him because then it keeps his hands warm, but then he can still, do all the things he needs to do with the camera.
Yeah, so that's kind of my rule. I try to get stuff back if I can. Not that I've had a whole lot of messy breakups.
No, but I think that's a good rule.
Yeah.
I mean, why leave something behind to be destroyed?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the other question was, what is my major? So currently, and hopefully till the end, my major is marketing. I started out as a studio art major, and
because she's brilliant, she is so artistic and talented.
I liked doing art, and I thought it'd be fun. I don't know what my thought process was. I mean, I know I couldn't really make a real living doing the kind of art that I wanted to do, but I just kind of I like art, I'll go into art. And then I switched to biology, thinking I can be a medical illustrator and do medical illustrations for textbooks and posters and things like that.
You've thought about that one long. Because when you were a senior, you couldn't decide between the two.
Yeah.
It was either art or biology.
I thought about double majoring, but I just...
And the medical illustration would have kind of been the best of both worlds.
Yeah. But the biology program, especially at the University of New Orleans, where I'm at now, is full of pre-med students, and it's very competitive. And I was just feeling really stressed, and I didn't really want to do the art thing anymore, because once you do art, either for a living or, on commissions or in class, whenever it's not something you're enjoying, it kind of kills your love for it, especially for your own personal projects. And I didn't want to work in a lab, and I didn't really want to work in the field. So I switched from biology to business, because I thought that business was easier, which it is, and it'll get me out quicker, which about the same amount of time. And then I took a marketing class 2 semesters ago, and I really liked it. There's a lot of psychology to it, which I really enjoy. So then I switched my major to marketing. So right now I'm in marketing.
But it's within business, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I switched from general business to marketing. And I really do like marketing.
Good.
And it's helped me with dyeing my yarns and doing my business a little bit. And it is a lot easier. I'm not saying that to be business is easy, but there's a lot less math, there's a lot less chemistry, there's a lot less physics. So it's a lot of it is kind of you can reason through it. You're not screwed if you don't know the formula sort of deal. So I'm really happy with where I am.
Good.
I figured it out. The end is in sight. I
can see the light.
I have 3 semesters left. I have summer semester, fall, and then spring. So I should graduate next May, hopefully. I'll be 24. I'll have been in college since I was 17.
No. Well, not continuously.
Yeah, I took a year off.
And she's also been at 2 different schools.
At 3 different schools.
Well, yeah, 2 other schools.
Yeah.
So she started off at one school, then she went to a different school, then she took a year off, and then she went to a 3rd school when she came back. So
yeah, but I've been at UNO for 3 years now, so I'm happy. I'm happy at UNO.
But each time you switched schools, you lost credits.
I lost transfer credits. Different schools accept different. Like my ACT score, I got like 15 hours at one school, whereas one school only gave me 3 hours for the same ACT score.
And then your first school, she started off at Louisiana Tech, and they're on the quarter system. And so that made some transferring of credits difficult as well.
Well, that and I was in the honors college. They told me because my class was an honors class, they couldn't find the equivalent class.
Yeah,
which didn't make any
no sense. There was, you lost a ton of credits that you should have gotten credit for, obviously.
So the moral of the story is don't switch schools 3 times, twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to find where you're comfortable. Yeah. And, coming out of school, you don't really, especially if you're the oldest, which Robin is, you don't have a lot of experience with different schools and going up there and spending time there to see if this is really a good
And especially
fit.
living on your own. Like living in the dorms on my own for the first time.
Yeah, because Tech was 5 hours away.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like marketing. I'm happy. I'm going to finish.
Yay.
Just wait. I'm going to finish.
Well,
it's going to be the best day of my life because I feel like I've been in school forever.
I know you're going to finish.
We're going to finish. We're going to get it done.
Me and Pearl? You and Pearl?
Me and Pearl.
I don't know why I said me.
Pearl does all my homework.
Oh, yeah, well, as long as her handwriting's neat and looks similar to yours, that's okay.
She's really good at accounting.
Oh, yeah, I bet she can count.
Okay, so that's the
All
question.
right, so one of the things I thought I would start today is add a new section to the podcast called Pinterest Baking.
Is it Good Eats?
Or Good Eats.
We'll figure it. We'll iron
Let's
it.
call it Good Eats. That
Good
sounds
Eats.
a lot better. But anyway, if you're like me, I have a ton of things pinned on Pinterest, and I rarely make them. And I'm like, what is the point of saving these recipes if I never use them? So what I'd like to do is each week I will make something that's pinned to my Pinterest board, and I'll show it and review the recipe. So today, for our emergency snacks, courtesy of what Chelsea and Sue call it, I made some Buckeye brownies. This recipe is by Sugary Sweets, and I will put the link for the recipe in the show notes. They're just a takeoff on a regular Buckeye, except the bottom is a brownie layer. So it's very similar to any Buckeye recipe that you would find.
Sorry, Pearl just knocked something over.
She's trying to get into the David's tea box.
She knows what's up.
And well, it's got tissue paper in it.
She loves anything that crinkles.
She loves crinklies.
So brownies.
Yes. So anyway, it's very similar to any Buckeye recipe you may have made before if you've made them, except it has the brownie layer. If I make them again, I will do 2 modifications. The peanut butter layer, it doesn't say anything about thinning out the peanut butter or melting the peanut butter. You melt the butter, and you have the peanut butter and the melted butter and then the powdered sugar. And then it says spread it over the warm brownie. Well, that mixture does not spread. That is like impossible. Now, if you've made Buckeyes before, you'll know that's not spreadable. You take it, you ball it up, and then you're going to dip it in chocolate. So I would make it to where it is much thinner so it can be spread, because it's kind of gloppy all over the place. Now, it looks nice once you put the chocolate on top, but it's not a smooth, spreadable mixture like it says in the recipe. There's no spreading of the peanut butter layer. And second thing I would change if I made this again is I think I would do a little more ganache on the top. There were some areas, especially on the edges, that didn't get any chocolate, and now some of that had to do with the peanut butter layer being so lumpy. It wasn't smooth, so maybe some of the peanut butter was in some of the craters that were not smoothed out.
Chocolate crater sounds good.
So anyway, they taste really well. They taste really good. And Robin and I have sampled them, and they're yummy, and I would recommend it. Also, thinning the peanut butter layer would probably also help the peanut butter mixture to adhere to the brownie layer better.
They kind of separate.
As I was cutting them, the brownie layer would separate from the peanut butter and ganache part. But
they don't have to be pretty to taste good.
No.
That's
So anyway, so I give this recipe a thumbs up. I would
pause up, a little Pearl paw.
Pearl paw, yeah, definitely a pause up. Pearl would enjoy it if she could have chocolate. So that's my recipe.
So I think that is it, except for the shop update.
So I'm gonna eat one.
That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is all we have in terms of knitting and the normal part of the show, I guess. I do have a shop update scheduled for tomorrow, Friday the 22nd at 5 p.m. Central Time. So if you would like to stick around and see what I have to put in my shop update, then stick around. And if not, then thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So,
and hopefully this will get uploaded before the shop update, because we had an issue last time Robin had a shop update. We tried to upload the podcast 4 times.
Yeah.
And it actually uploaded after the shop update. So this time... I'm
going to post it on my Instagram so people don't miss it. But it's not like my stuff sells out that quickly. So odds are you'll be able to get whatever you have your eye on. So I do have a couple of full skeins this week. I have a couple new bases. This is my solo base, which is a single. And this is coming up a lot lighter. It's actually really dark. This is my...
It's more of a chocolate brown.
Yeah, it's like a chocolate brown. This is my chicory colorway, which I did some research on each of these colorways, and I learned some new things, so I'm going to share them.
Oh, please do.
Chicory is a weed root, which it's like a dandelion, I think, some sort of like dandelion flower.
That's cool.
And I don't know if it was during the French Revolution or around that time, people used to add it to their coffee because it tastes kind of like coffee, even though it doesn't have caffeine.
Maybe coffee was in rare,
hard to find coffee. It's so much cheaper to add the chicory than to use to make coffee.
Your coffee go further.
Yeah, and they brought it over to New Orleans. The French settlers brought it to New Orleans, and the people over here loved it so much that they do it even whenever they don't have, economic hardships.
Yeah, there's still a lot of coffee blends that will add chicory to the
Cafe au lait
is
made with chicory.
Cafe du Monde, their coffee has chicory in it.
Yeah. So that's chicory. This is on, again, the singles base. This is 100% superwash merino, and it's a fan grain weight single. And I actually dyed up some skeins for myself of these 2 colors together. I'm thinking a 2-color shawl.
Be pretty.
I really like them. So this is the same base. This is also the solo fingering base. This is the beignets colorway, which obviously, if you've heard of New Orleans, you know that New Orleans and beignets kind of go hand in hand. Little square-shaped powdered sugar donuts.
So good.
I like Morning Call better than Cafe du Monde. I was talking to Maddie about this, but
well, most people know Cafe du Monde
because it's in the quarter.
It's down in the quarter.
Yeah.
Very long time ago, Morning Call was also down in the quarter, but
now it's in Metairie, huh?
Now they had 2 places, and now it's only the one in Metairie is. Yeah. It's the only one I know.
So this is a similar color. It's a light tan with some darker spots. I really
It's
like
almost like your Cafe du Monde collection.
Oh, because you have your chicory and your beignet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have. This is actually I think I like. They're a little bit different. Same dye lot, but they came out a little bit different. One's a little more blue. This is my Paws sock base. Paws like kitty paws. This is BFL, 80% BFL, superwash BFL, 20% nylon, and this is a high twist base. Can't really see, but it's really durable for socks. And this is my drive-through daiquiri colorway, which I was originally going to do it based on like a strawberry daiquiri, but every day I drive by the daiquiri and cream drive-through, and I see like the sign and like all the little spinny things inside if you drive through.
Well, you can get different flavors of daiquiris.
Yeah.
Down here, we have daiquiri shops that you can drive through and get you a drink.
I didn't know when I was little, like until a couple of years ago, I didn't know that wasn't a real like thing everywhere.
Yeah. A lot of people, if you don't leave New Orleans, don't realize that other places don't have things like that. So there are many drive-through daiquiri places in this area, but Daiquiri and Creams is one of the chains. But they will give you a drink and they'll give you a straw separate. So
the straw's still wrapped. You can't unwrap the straw.
Yeah. So the plan is you're not drinking and driving. You're supposed to take it to wherever you're going and then enjoy your drink.
The lid has to be on, and it can't have a straw in it. And sometimes they put tape over the hole. I've seen them do that. They've done that for every daiquiri we've ever gotten. They put tape over the hole.
Mm-hmm. So they're not advocating drinking and driving, although, you're
not supposed to. It's real bad.
Oh yeah.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Get your daiquiri and go home, y'all. So, drive-through daiquiri. This is the other skein that I dyed. It's interesting how they come from the same dye pot, but they're a little bit different. I love that.
That's why I like picking out my yarn myself, because even within the same dye lot, they were in the same pot hanging out together. They're still going to, be different.
Yeah. I have a couple bags in the shop. This,
I love this print.
I had another one of these, but it's sold, so I went ahead and sewed the other one. It has a short little tab instead of a long handle. And then the inside fabric is little feather print, and there's my little label in there. This is a good size for like a sock or a shawl project.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this. And then last week I had this one. I had my personal one. This is a bag I made for the shop in the Paris afternoon fabric with the little seals that I love. And the inside fabric is polka dots, just like the bottom.
Okay, you're not showing it long. You're like showing it real fast, and it's kind of blurry.
Oh.
So take your time. There you go.
I mean, my labels all look the same.
I know, but I want to see the polka dots.
Oh, polka dots.
And show how cute the zipper pull is. So
Eiffel Tower zipper pull.
Or Progress Keeper.
Yeah. This one has a Progress Keeper. The other one does not. Just because I couldn't find any birds.
But you would still you could put a Progress Keeper.
Yeah, you could put your own Progress Keeper on. It just doesn't come with one. So I have a new mini skein set because my first mini skein set sold really, really well. Yes. Thank you to everyone who bought a mini skein set.
And you still have some in the shop?
I think I have 3 left.
Okay, and these are the Evolutions from Pokemon.
Yeah, I still have a couple of those left.
Pearl is going crazy with a crinkly ball.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Do
7,
you need
8,
me to
9.
hold one set?
I'm just making sure I have all the colors. Because there's 10 colors. There we go. No. Oh, no. Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Do you need me to hold a set?
Yeah. Okay, so, let's show them all together.
All right. So
this is my New Orleans mini skein set.
Let's see. There we go.
There we go. So, these are 10 colors, all dyed inspired by the city of New Orleans. And I tried to steer away from the more stereotypical things. Like, I didn't do a Mardi Gras colorway or anything just because I feel like that's been done. And I might do one for Mardi Gras next year, but I kind of wanted to explore the city a little more than just the more touristy things.
Well, there's a lot the city has to offer.
Yeah.
Not just Mardi Gras.
So, I'm going to go through the colorways. The set comes with 10 mini skeins, about 47 yards each, 10 grams each. So a total of 470 yards and 100 grams. And, the mini skein set comes with a Progress Keeper that has, hang on, I'm sorry.
That is now crawled under your computer.
Sorry. Yeah. It's a little fleur-de-lis Progress Keeper because it's kind of...
It's a symbol of the
New
city.
Orleans. The Saints is what I'm thinking of. But it's kind of like it's a French...
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are lots of other fleur-de-lis around town that's just not Saints.
Yeah. We joke down here, if you put a fleur-de-lis on it, someone will buy it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's pretty funny. Like, I mean, they're pretty, and there's some beautiful art with fleur-de-lis, but it's kind of like, if you want to sell something, put a fleur-de-lis on it. So, this is St. Charles Streetcar, which is based on the streetcars that run up and down St. Charles Avenue.
They're green.
Which you thought were red.
There is another line.
Yeah.
They're red. I was thinking of that one.
Yeah. So, St. Charles Streetcar. This is Bananas Foster, which has a little bit of brown speckling in it.
And Bananas Foster is a wonderful dessert.
Mm-hmm. They set it on fire. That's how they make it. All the good foods are set on fire. This is Garden District, and it's not showing up. It's really like a muted purple and green.
and that's St. Charles Avenue runs through the Garden District.
Magazine Street's in the Garden District, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And Audubon Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And Children's Hospital, all of this.
Yep. And that's like greens and purples.
Yeah, I was trying to go for like azalea colors. It's a little bit more muted than true azaleas, but I have a lot of brights, so I kind of wanted something a little more muted.
Yeah, if you go down St. Charles Avenue at this time of year and into May, you'll see all the beautiful azaleas blooming, and they're pinks of different shades of pinks and the green leaves, and it's just really beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that is a good representation of those beautiful
This one's
colors.
a little, wait, no, that's not the right one. This one's a little more purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is crawfish boil, which I have a full skein of in my shop.
I think you had that color last week.
Yes, I did. This is Cemetery Tour, which is based on St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. We went on a tour. We did the touristy thing. It's where Marie Laveau was buried. Nicolas Cage has a tomb there.
It is horrendous.
It's I hate to say it. Well, I hate to say it. It's stupid looking. Because, like, there's all these, like...
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid. It doesn't match any of the rest of the decor. There's all these beautiful, mausoleums and, all these angels.
Most in New Orleans, many of the cemeteries are above ground because there's a high water table. And so you've got these beautiful, rectangular tombs, with beautiful marble work and statues and columns.
And then there's a big pyramid in the middle.
And then there's a big pyramid in the middle of the cemetery. And, it's stupid. It's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
so
it was very cool.
Yeah, that was a very, very cool tour.
And we did it around Halloween.
We did it right before Halloween. And St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 is the one where the Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau is buried. And
I have a colorway for her coming up.
It was really, really cool that there's I don't know what it is. Not tradition. What is the word I'm looking for?
Custom?
Lore is that if you go and you make a mark on her tomb, that she'll grant a wish or something. So, depending upon if they cleaned it recently.
The Marie Laveau colorway, by the way.
No, that's beautiful.
Marie Laveau. It's purple with colorful speckles.
But anyway, if you go, depending on when you go, if the tomb has been cleaned recently, you'll see all these
X's,
tick marks and X's and things like that. And then people will leave her gifts and offerings at the base of the tomb. It's very interesting.
It's cool, yeah. I wanted to say about this one. Dad said something about this, and I thought it was really funny. Only in New Orleans would you get on a streetcar marked cemetery without a second thought.
That's true.
I just thought that was funny.
I don't know if the streetcar goes down to the cemeteries.
Or the bus.
The buses, when you see the name of the bus, it tells you, what the route is. There is one that says cemetery, and people have no problem getting on the cemetery bus because that's, they're heading to that part of town.
So I have beignet and chicory, which you saw earlier. So I think those would be so pretty. I'm so enamored with these two together.
They are pretty together.
This is drive-through daiquiri. This one's a little pinker than the full skeins. And this last one is Jazz Fest, which is inspired by one of the older Jazz Fest posters that I saw. Because I was asking people, like, whenever you think of Jazz Fest, which is I'm sure you know, it's a huge music festival. It's actually started today. Janelle Monáe is playing today, and I will not be going. But
you wanted to go.
It's too expensive. I was asking people, what colors do you think of whenever you think of Jazz Fest? And people kept saying blues, and so I was looking up the posters, and there's like this classic poster of Jazz Fest that's like blue, and it has like a gold trombone. So this is blue and gold, a little tiny, tiny bit of gold, mostly blue speckle.
It also reminds me of the blue skies because Jazz Fest is obviously held outdoors. They've got I don't know, I can't remember how many tents there are, but the skies are mostly blue. There have been a couple of times when they've had rainstorms and things like that, but this time of year, the weather is gorgeous and the skies are blue, and I think that's a perfect color for Jazz Fest. Trying to get away?
Yeah, it ran away. So 10 skeins. This is all of them together. I tried to get a good assortment of solids and speckles and variegated. Maybe not so much variegated. There's only a couple variegated.
Do you have like 5 and 5? That's what you had originally done?
I had originally wanted to do 5 like New Orleans food-based ones and then 5 city-based ones. But the 5 food-based ones are all a little too similar for me. So
well, I meant 5 solids and 5.
Oh, Well, some of them are kind of tonal and some of them are kind of speckled.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So it's not quite an even mix.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I'm really happy with them. And I really love doing the mini skein sets because it's like a chance to experiment without having what's the word I'm looking for? Not the dedication, but like
I don't know what you're trying to say.
the cost, the
expense.
You're not locked into using a whole skein.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's going to come to me later.
Well, I think it'd be a cool thing if you want to do something that reminds you of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it touches on a whole bunch of different areas of New Orleans. You know, you got a little bit of food, you got a little bit of architecture, you got a little bit of parts of town, some music. You know, all the things that New Orleans is known for.
Yeah.
So
10 mini skeins. I'm going to say this again. 47 yards each.
Had a crumb.
Gross. So 470 yards total, 100 grams total. And they also come with the fleur-de-lis progress keeper.
Beautiful.
So I have a couple sets. And I'm going to list a handful in my shop because I have some plans for the other ones. But the shop update is going to be tomorrow, Friday, April 22nd at 5 p.m. Central Time. So if you're interested, go and check out my shop. I'll leave a link in the down bar below. And I think that's all we have for today. That's all we got.
That's all I can think of.
All right. So thank you for watching. If you're a new viewer, thank you for checking us out. If you're coming back, thank you so much for returning. And thank you to everyone who's left comments in our Ravelry group and down below in the YouTube comments. We really appreciate it, and we love interacting with you guys.
And we know that there are a ton of podcasts out there, and we appreciate you spending some time with us today, and we hope you come back.
Yes, so thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.